But let's get into our first topic of the day. XFL Week 1 recap. Started out on Saturday. The DC Defenders went up against the Seattle Dragons, and the DC Defenders won 31-19. Maybe one of the worst beats of all time. Seattle was about to kick a field goal to take the over. They get a penalty. It ends up they don't need to go for the
field goal.
They made the field goal, but then they end up getting the penalty, trying to go for more points. Ended up fumbling the ball. The DC Defenders just ran the clock out, and the over did not hit. The over had already hit. It had already hit. They took the points away. They took the points away. He had made the field goal. It was kind of an ugly-looking field goal in the first place, but it went through. They wanted to go for more points, try to go for a touchdown, and then fumbled the ball. If that was me, that would have been. I'm lucky I didn't gamble on that because that would have hurt me. That would have ruined my whole weekend. But then we have. Did you guys watch any of these games?
Yeah, I watched every game.
What'd you think?
I was watching them.
What'd you think? What'd you think of the rules?
I love it.
I like the new kickoff rule. It's different. And I was talking to some people on Saturday about it, and I was saying you don't want the NFL to adapt any of these rules because that's the thing. No. It's kind of the gimmick of it all. Is you have all these rules that the NFL doesn't have. You have the coaches are mic'd up and you can hear what they're saying. The players are getting interviewed right as they come off the field. Pat McAfee was, I think, doing the last game of the day on ESPN. I think it was. Is it St. Louis?
Yeah, it was St. Louis.
I didn't know St. Louis had a team.
Dallas.
Yeah, so they had Pat McAfee on the sideline. They got reporters all over the sidelines on every game.
Shoot, Pat McAfee's not just on the sideline. He's on the field.
He's on the field, but not during the game, right?
No. But literally, as plays are getting
he's
over.
Right there.
I like it. It makes it unique.
He saved Troy Aikman's life tonight.
Yes, he did.
He pulled Troy Aikman out of the way when a guy was kind of coming at them. But I think that's, like I said, the cool thing about it is now you get to maybe listen to how they call plays and stuff like that, the coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys think it was almost too much of a gimmick, or do you think it's going to work?
So there's definitely parts of it that I thought were extremely gimmicky, like the whole 2-point conversion thing I thought was rather gimmicky, but that's also part of the charm, it does make it a little bit different. It makes the strategy a little bit different. So yes and no, I don't think I want him to change the 2-point conversion thing or the 3-point conversion or the whatever the case is. But it's going to take a little bit of time for the public to get used to these rules. And you're going to have to explain it. I love the integration of gambling. The line and the over was on the screen the whole time. They openly talked about gambling. They talked a lot about, the guys past and where they've played and who they've played for. I don't know, man. I just enjoyed it. And it was kind of fun. But I wasn't super glued into it like an NFL game. I could also get some other stuff done. And I don't know. I just, for some reason, I just kind of enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed the one thing I think that the NFL could take notes on is they let you listen in from the Sky judge and his explanation of what happened to the head official that was going to make the call. So you kind of weren't sitting there, asking, why did the refs call this? What did the refs see here? You got to hear the conversation from the Sky judge down to the field, little stuff like that. The NFL could integrate, but the big stuff, it does make it a gimmick, but it also makes the XFL what it is. So I hope it's here to stay.
I do too. I really do hope it's here to stay. Pigoy?
Yeah, to Boomy's point, I liked how transparent they were about listening to the play calls and listening to the rules explanations. That was pretty cool. The whole point after conversion, that's a pretty big gimmick. And then also the kickoffs, that was kind of weird too. But it's entertaining and people want to watch football all year, so I'm on board with it. I mean,
if they can manage their money, and being it's run by Vince McMahon, they'll be okay. The AAF was a disaster because they had no money.
And that's the thing is and that's why I think the AAF did wrong is they tried to be too much like the NFL, where the XFL wants to be different, and they're going to embrace being different than the NFL, and they're going to get viewers because they're different and they have a different style of football. And it's still football, so people are going to watch it, but it's just different.
And there were some bad names out there too. I mean,
my thing is the big factor of will it work is if players will start, like if some of these guys will actually start making it onto NFL rosters. If it kind of becomes it's never going to be the minor league of football. That's just not going to work. But if it's a farm system, some guys can actually make it from the XFL to the NFL and it be why, then that is going to make it watchable and more attractive for people to go play in. I think that's really, it's the first game. You really won't know until a full season goes through. And I know it's fun to watch. We just like watching football. But looking at the AAF, you just want to make it through a full season at this point. Just try and get through year one.
And the old XFL did. They made it through a full year, but
I think there's,
it's all about the longevity and the ability to stick around.
And you see that, there's the gimmicks of the rules and stuff, but they're still sticking to football. It seemed like back when they first tried to do it, they tried to make it more of like a wrestling thing and make storylines behind everything, which is kind of cool. But some people, they just want to watch football. They don't want. Yeah, and you can't really do that kind of stuff nowadays. You can't joke about the concussions, and you can't have the concussions, and like some of those guys just get almost talked in the middle of the games like they have a concussion and kept playing. Like that's just never going to happen.
Aside from a few things, like it looked a lot like a football game would look like. Aside from like the kickoffs, and I mean it looked like football, which is fine. So keep it going.
I thought it was a good first week, but you really won't know. You don't know. It's people are just excited to watch football again. We had a week off, and now we need football back. So I think that's kind of where people are at right now, and we'll kind of see where it goes from here.